Welcome to Couch Talk with Cherie. I'm your hostess, Cherie May, licensed professional counselor at Work in Progress Counseling. Here at Work in Progress, we are a team of therapists dedicated to providing direction, guidance, and support in a safe environment for those who desire emotional, spiritual, and relational healing. Work in Progress has two locations. In the Birmingham, Alabama area, we are located between Roebuck and Trussville at 266 Gadsden Highway, Suite 102, and in Coleman, we are located at 409 2nd Avenue Southwest, Suite 104. For more information about Work in Progress, you can call 205-994-4563, or you can visit us on the internet at www.workinprogresscounseling.com. I decided to do Couch Talk to open up communication about mental health and to decrease the shame and stigma associated with all things related to mental health. Today's Couch Talk topic is improving communication. Please follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please feel free to ask questions below, leave comments, and also like and share this video. I apologize in advance. I apologize for being late. We've tried to get this video on at 11 o'clock, and we've had camera difficulties, we've had mic difficulties. If you're watching me, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Good, glad you can hear me. So today's Couch Talk topic is improving your communication. According to dictionary.com, to communicate is to express thoughts, feelings, or information easily and effectively. According to George Bernard Shaw, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it is taking place. Now, open and honest communication should be a part of every healthy relationship. If you're in an unhealthy or an abusive relationship, please be careful using the following tips. You know your relationship best. If any of these tips would put you in danger, do not try them. So, for healthier communication, we're going to start off, let me back up. As a therapist, one of the things that I see most often in relationship difficulties is a failure to communicate. Now, people are talking, but they're not communicating. And just because words are coming out of your mouth and words are coming out of their mouth doesn't mean that you're necessarily conveying information effectively. So we're going to start out with the number one way to improve your communication is listen, listen, listen. The best thing that you can do to improve your communication skills is to really learn how to listen. Pay attention and let the other person talk uninterrupted. You have never ever heard anyone say, well, gosh, he gets on my nerves because he listens so much. No, people talk too much, but you can never listen too much. When someone is trying to communicate information to you, before you respond, ask questions, paraphrase what they've said, what you've heard, to make sure that you have an understanding of the message. Now, I'm not talking about parroting, just repeating back what they said. I mean, really try to get an understanding and, in your own words, say what you feel like you've heard them say. Let's face it, we've all drifted off when someone else was talking or misunderstood, misheard, didn't quite catch that. Asking questions and repeating the last thing or paraphrasing what you've heard them say shows that you're interested, helps you to stay focused, and it also helps to clarify points that could be misunderstood. Also, as a part of listening, do not finish other people's sentences. Number one, it's rude. Number two, it's annoying. Also, it doesn't give them the opportunity to finish their thought if you're trying to finish it for them. You're trying to read their mind and get ahead of what they're trying to say. That's not really listening. Also, listening is not waiting for the other person to stop talking. If you're really listening, you're not formulating your response in your head to what they've already said. Next, you want to check your body language. Our nonverbal cues often reveal more than we think they do. If you've said, I'm open to talk about it, we can talk about it, but you're sitting there like this, what are you communicating with your body language? Are you really communicating that you're open? Tell them that you're listening and show them by giving them your full attention. Sit up, face them, make eye contact. Don't play on your phone, don't play video games, don't take phone calls. Show them that you respect them by listening and by responding. Whether it's how you make eye contact or your body posture, please don't forget that you're constantly communicating even when you're not saying a word. When possible, talk face to face. Avoid talking about serious matters or issues in writing. Text message, letters, emails, I know those are the order of the day. That's what we're doing now in this digital age. But talking in person helps to avoid unnecessary miscommunication. Now, I know you're probably, somebody's saying, but I think better when I write. That's fine. If you have trouble collecting your thoughts, consider writing them down ahead of time and reading them out loud so that you're there and you've got your thoughts collected on a piece of paper and you're reading them to them, and you can clarify any misunderstandings. You know, you can't hear a tone or read body language through a text or an email. That's why talking face to face is so important. Now, this is going to sound like a no-brainer, but think before you speak. Always pause before you speak, not saying the first thing that comes to mind. Sometimes what comes to mind doesn't need to come out your mouth. Take a moment, pay close attention to not only what you're going to say, but how you're going to say it. This one habit will help you avoid many embarrassments. Be honest. You've got to agree to be honest in a relationship. Whenever you're talking with someone, they need to know that the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's key for a healthy relationship. Admit when you're wrong and apologize sincerely when you've made a mistake, instead of making excuses. You'll feel better, and your spouse or significant other will appreciate you taking responsibility for your own behavior, and it will help strengthen your relationship. Now, no one can read minds. I know some people think they can, but you really can't read minds. So when someone has hurt you or said something that has offended you, they can't fix the problem if you're just keeping it all inside and expecting them to just know that they've done this to you. So you've got to be honest with them and not expect them to read your mind. It's your responsibility to tell your partner what you want, what you need, and how you feel. It's not their responsibility to figure it out. Now, I'm talking a lot about spouse and significant other, but these tips work with communicating with anyone, with coworkers, with parents, with siblings, best friend. All of these communication tips can affect any relationship. So you've decided that there's something that you got to tell them, and you're upset about something. So a topic that is difficult, that's going to take some time, you want to make sure that you find the right time. If something's bothering you and you've got to have a conversation about it, but it's dinner time, the kids are around, there's all kinds of chaos going on in the house, that's probably not the right time. If your spouse just came in from work and they're stressed and they're angry about something that happened at work, that might not be the time. So try to find a time when you're both calm, not distracted, not stressed, or in a hurry. You might even consider scheduling a time to talk if one or both of you is really busy. Also, before you get into any discussion about something serious, determine your current emotional mood, and then communicate that to the other person and ask them if this is a good time to talk. If not, schedule a time when both of you can be available and, again, not stressed, not rushed, not distracted. So you've got this thing, it's the right time, and you're now ready to communicate something that's upsetting. Use I statements. I statements can help you to communicate a message without causing defensiveness in your partner. Even when we mean well, sometimes we can come across as harsh because of our word choice. So using you can sound like you're attacking, which will make the other person defensive and less receptive to what you're trying to say. So instead of using you, try I or we. For example, instead of saying, you never talk to me, so try saying, I feel like we haven't been as close as we used to be. when you say I or we, you take the responsibility off of them for the problem. When you say you, you're putting it on them and it's making it their fault. When you say I and we, then you say that we both have a part in this, and then we can discuss what we can do to improve this problem. Avoid using absolutes. I just used one. You never talk to me anymore. Always and never are barriers in an argument. Always and never throw up defenses, and the other person is, so if you say to them, you never take out the trash, they're going to think of that one time last summer that they took out the trash and say, yes, I do. I took the trash out last summer on June the 3rd. It was Tuesday. And then the argument is non-productive. So you're not going to get anywhere when you use always and never. Instead of saying, you never help with the dishes, say, I could use more help. Could you please do the dishes? Well, they know the dishes need to be done. Of course they know the dishes need to be done. But if you don't communicate what your needs are, you can't expect for those needs to be met. Take certain trigger words off the table. If you're a married person, you should never, ever, 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 and I mean never, ever, ever. I know I said don't use absolutes, but in this case, absolutely never talk divorce unless you're talking divorce. In an argument, you should never say, I'm gonna divorce you, I'm leaving, I'm out of here, I'm done, especially if it's just anger talking. Nobody likes threats. The last person that any of us should be worried about receiving a threat from is the man or the woman that we're in a relationship with. When we're faced with threats and ultimatums, our willingness to cooperate or communicate immediately becomes damaged, and we recoil inwardly and withdraw emotionally. In some cases, people might even become rebellious and be tempted to do exactly what you're trying to keep them from doing when you throw out ultimatums and threats. Threats are never an acceptable form of communication because they can easily lead to emotional or physical abuse. If the only way that someone can get you to see their side of the situation is by threatening to break up with you or deprive you of something you love or otherwise being hostile, this is a sign of a toxic relationship and you need to check your boundaries. Okay, so now I don't want you to think that it's not okay to be angry. So we're going to talk about how to communicate if you're angry. It's okay to get angry in a relationship. Everybody does at some point. But what's important to know is how do you resolve the conflict in a healthy way. So if you get angry, here are a few steps that you can take in communication. We're going to start with the 48-hour rule. 48-hour rule says you wait 2 days before you discuss something that has made you angry. So if they've done something that makes you angry and you need to tell them about it, if you don't have to do so right away, consider waiting 48 hours. And if you're still hurt, then say something. But if you're not still hurt about it, if it's not that big of a deal, consider forgetting it. Just let it go. But I need you to remember, they can't read your mind. So if you don't speak up when you're upset, there's no way for them to apologize or fix it. Once you do talk about your hurt feelings and your partner sincerely apologizes, let it go. Don't keep rehashing it. Okay, so something's happened and you've decided that I cannot wait 48 hours. What am I supposed to do? Okay, if you have to tell them now, stop for just a moment. If you're really angry, take a breath, take a step back, and give yourself a timeout. Do something that's going to help you to relax. Go for a walk, phone a friend, play a video game, listen to some music, whatever helps you relax. Try doing that. So taking this break is to help keep the situation from being worse. Then think about this situation. Think about what has made you so upset. Why did you get so angry? Was it something that they did? Was it something that they said? Figure out what the real problem is so that you can think about how to explain your feelings. Now, I've heard many people say, oh, well, I've got anger issues. And when I explore it, I figure out they don't have anger issues, they have feeling issues. Anger is a secondary emotion. Well, that means it comes after. Something else is primary. So something else comes first. There's a feeling that happens before anger, and the anger is triggered by that first feeling. And I know somebody doesn't believe me, so I'm going to give you an example. Here goes. So I have this 3-year-old boy, and I've explained to him time and time again, when we're walking in parking lots, we have to hold hands. And he does not run, we hold hands and we walk. So as we step off the curb, he sees somebody across the parking lot that he knows, and he takes off running. And I can see the car coming that he can't see, and I know the car can't see him. So I run and I catch him and I snatch him back just in time. He's safe, and I'm instantly furious, and I yell and maybe smack his butt or something, but I'm furious. So what was I just before I was so angry? If you said petrified or terrified or scared or something that sounds like that, you're absolutely right. Fear was primary. Anger was secondary. And if I deal with my fear, then the anger will take care of itself. So once you've determined what's going on, what's been your trigger for anger, talk to your partner, and then do what we previously discussed. And then after you've told them how you feel and how what they've done has impacted you, listen. Both of you deserve a healthy, safe environment in which you can communicate your feelings. Now, communicating is not easy, I know. Some of these things that I've told you might feel awkward or unnatural, just kind of weird. But just like everything that you know how to do, you had to learn it, and it took practice. So the more you practice, the better you'll be at communicating and building a healthy relationship. So, in summary, going back over what we've already talked about, first thing you're going to do is listen, listen, listen. Ask questions, paraphrase, make sure you understand what's being communicated with you. Don't finish other people's sentences. Check your body language and make sure that your nonverbals are communicating what you want to communicate with your words. Talk face to face. Think before you speak. Be honest. Don't expect someone to read your mind. Find the right time to talk. Use I statements. Avoid using absolutes like never and always. Take certain triggers off the table, such as the D word. We don't say we're not going to quit. Communicate appropriately when you're angry. Use the 48-hour rule. Stop, think, talk, listen. Thank you for watching my video. If this has been a benefit to you, please like and share it. Drop any comments, questions that you have below.
48 hours is a long time, Jasmine called.
48 hours is a long time. But again, this is for non-serious matters. So if we're talking about, he didn't take out the trash on Monday, that's not something that you necessarily have to freak out about on him on Monday night. We're not talking about bouncing a check or something that may be serious. We're talking about minor things that may not be that big of a deal. Thanks for asking that question. Thank you for watching this video. Like it, share it. If you have suggestions for topics, please leave those below. Next week's Couch Talk topic remains to be determined. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching Couch Talk. See you next week at 11 on Friday.